What's up, y'all? It's Shuffle, and today we're reviewing the patch that came out today on November 4th for Darkest Dungeon 2. These are the notes, and it's kind of fun that we actually get to review patch notes. You know, I didn't play Early Access DD1, go figure, I played it when it came out, but now I get to be a part of this process. I was not YouTuber back then. Well, I was, but not, you know, full-time. Anyway, let's see. I was gonna say if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, all that normal stuff, but you know what to do. You know how it is. Alright, so I'm gonna read through this. I have the game in the background, that's why you hear a bit of music, and I have the 4 most important things I want to look at ready. So, bug fixes, we're gonna assume all these are good. The one that I liked the most, that I'm happy was fixed, was there was Dreaming General. I don't see it immediately here, it's probably right in front of me. But Dreaming General had a fight breaking glitch, and it seems they fixed that, so I'm happy with that. So the UI, they increased the font size for a bunch of stuff, basically, not just like some of these tooltips, but I like that. The text was pretty small in the game. And then let's see, the affinity system, so relationships are getting changed again. This is kind of like the top complaint for most people in regards to this game, but it's also like one of the focal points of the game, so this is going to get tweaked a lot. Don't be surprised if relationship changes come up every single week, or every single patch, I should say. I would expect it to be that way until they hammer it out. So let's see. They did a big tuning bypass. They did a small one, I think like a week ago, where they made it less common, and now they're doing a bigger one here. So they reduced proc rates for many affinity change events, especially the annoying ones. People were complaining about the game just stopping every like 2 seconds to like have the characters look at you and do stuff, so it sounds like they're changing that. This right here, increases affects the most meaningful and logical affinity changes. So let's see. I think they're trying to make the smaller ones not as common, and then the big ones are the focal points, like the ones you should be hoping for and stuff. So let's see. Yeah, so a lot of the proc rates just got adjusted. They don't give us hard numbers here, but generally increased magnitude of the things that positive and negative act outs can do. So that's actually a bit scary, because my complaint with relations, like, not just that they're very dominant so far, it's that they are very swingy. You know, like if you have a bunch of negative relationships and your team's just yelling at each other, it is very hard to come back from that, and it's very hard to win. Same thing goes the other way. If you have a bunch of positive relationships and everyone's just, you know, high-fiving each other, then it's very hard to lose. It sounds like from this wording, they're getting a bit stronger in the highest sense, but also less noise and interruptions. I think this is what people wanted specifically, so I'm glad they did that. So added variety to positive and negative act outs. For example, buffs might now include other tokens besides strength. Okay, that's actually really cool. The debuffs in a variety can be dangerous too. I don't want I don't want Plague Doctor to get yelled at and then she gets taunt tokens. That'd be very scary. But giving your damage dealer a crit token would be nice. Dodge, you know, that kind of stuff. So dot resist. Reduce relationship dot resist buffs, debuffs that are stacking too high. So this is a big issue. If you had your whole team on positive or negative relationships, your resists were just either in the floor or in the roof. One of the two. I guess through the floor and through the roof. Either way, but that sounds like a good change. Deathblow got lowered to 90 for the cap, so it's gonna be harder to get to the cap. So it means you're gonna be dying a lot more. New stress after meltdown is 2 instead of 5. I actually like this a lot, because goal is to reduce meltdown cycles. Because like when you meltdown and you destroy your positive relationships and then boost all your negative ones, you're at 5 stress and you're still yelling at your teammates and you're gonna melt down again. And it sounds like they are putting this to, this is a good change. This is a really good change. Maybe 0 is too much, but I think 2 is okay. So if you're not playing well, if you're getting snowballed, then it's still gonna hurt you. But like, you're just not stuck in perpetual negative relationships. I kind of like that. Meltdowns will no longer give the lost in quirks. That's good. I like that. The Deathblow cap down. This is the meat and potatoes right here. I like the hero changes a lot. So Deathblow's down. Stress recovery skills operate on thresholds similar to healing. It's going to be 5. So if you're at 5 or more, then stress recovery is going to work that way. You'll see when we get down to the other stuff. So a lot of the writing got better, just cleaner. I like that. Prevented numerous skills from being used on corpses. I'm not sure what this is besides like enemies. enemies can target corpses. Like, they do it sometimes, so I don't know if that changes. Grave Robber, 3 shots of Absinthe. This is a good change. Absinthe was broken, so I like that. I never really had this issue, Dead of Night triggering on misses. I guess people did that to like get rid of their blind tokens, and they would just eat a corpse. So that makes sense. Hyoman's Riposte, max damage has been slightly reduced. I wish I knew what the number was. I feel like it hit for maybe 7. Between 6 and 8 was the top end of Riposte. But this change, I don't think this matters too much. Actually, this matters a bit. This one doesn't matter too much, the crit rate. Because usually by the time you're getting like really good Riposte value, you already have Take Aim and it's either upgraded or you're about to upgrade it. And then you get crit tokens from that. So with Take Aim, that's a really good buff to Riposte. So this hurts Riposte more than the crit rate, I feel. But both of these are, they're fair. Riposte is very strong so far. Take Aim Plus now grants 1 dodge instead of 2. Good change. Take Aim was very strong. Inspiring Tune. I'm so happy for this. I know myself and a lot of other people were calling for this for a long time, like since the game came out. So Jester can now stress heal from 5 instead of 6. This is huge. Alongside the other changes to stress healing, Jester might be the best stress healer now. Kind of strange, but I knew Ounce of Prevention was going to get the nerf at some point, and we're going from. The only thing that kind of sucks about this is everyone used Inspiring Tune in the first game, and now we're going back to Inspiring Tune. A bit sad, but let's see. So Riposte for Man-at-Arms also got changed. Bolster got reworked. It doesn't target the party now. I actually have the game open here. So Bolster targets a person. Okay, let's look at the master thing. This is why I had this up. So instead of targeting your whole party, this targets Man-at-Arms and someone else. So it can take 2 stress off guaranteed instead of a 50% chance of reducing stress on everyone. This is a good change. I think Man-at-Arms might be the second best stress healer behind Jester now. Hard to say. But I think it's still Jester that's the best, but this is a good change. So with Bolster, since it's -2 on 2 people, that's actually pretty good. It's guaranteed now, and there's no cooldown. Oh, it has a cooldown of 1 turn. Okay, Jester's the best for sure. But this is nice. So if Man-at-Arms is guarding a lot and he's getting beat up, he's taking a lot of stress, he can get himself and then someone else down, which is really nice. And it feels like Red Hook wants your stress to sit around 3 or 4 the whole time, because 4 is when the act outs start to get like more negative than positive. So 4 stress has kind of been like the number you don't want. You want to be under 4. You want to be at 3 usually, or less. And it seems like they're really trying to keep us at 4. And I like that. It should keep things even. But so Bolster's been reworked. Ounce Prevention only heals at the same threshold. We talked about the 5 threshold. Find PD here. So Ounce Prevention upgraded. If you're at 5 or more, -1 stress. This is still a decent move. Upgraded. It's not. I still don't think it's good by itself. Or unupgraded, but upgraded still okay, because there are some fights in the game, or sometimes you just have a lot of bad luck, and you just get snowballed up to 6 stress on your whole party, and this can help you get them back down. There are a few enemies that are very damaging through damage over time effects, specifically bosses, and now this is more of like what it's supposed to be, which is a dot prevention move instead of just a party stress heal and relationship farmer. It is no longer those things. I mean, I guess it can still do that, but it's not as easy. So rip in peace, Plague Doctor. Actually, I think Plague Doctor's still gonna be a very, very good character. Like, the more I played, the further away I got from this button. And Indiscriminate Science, when the heck is this getting the nerf, dude? This thing is very powerful. It doesn't have a usage limit, and for someone that can generate a lot of tokens on themselves, like Highwayman or Hellion, for instance, or Man-at-Arms, this can heal like their entire HP. No joke. It's very, very strong. So this might get the nerf at some point. We'll see. Maybe it's something as simple as 5% per token, but it's still very powerful. You can have other stress healers, but Plague Doctor is still the best healer for sure. Let's see. Nope. Keep muting myself by accident. I'm not trying to mute myself. I'm trying to go to this. The same thing, Raucous, Revelry. It got the same change, the threshold of 5, that changed. Just a description on the win tokens. Okay, that's cool. Occultist Weird Reconstruction no longer has a battle limit. I don't expect this to stay. The issue with Reconstruction wasn't so much the usage limits. And the usage limits suck because sometimes you can just brick it 3 times, and that's really bad. What made Reconstruction bad is that fundamentally with the Cultist, given the nature of his heal, you do not want to heal when someone's at low life. You can only use Reconstruction when they're at a third or less. You want to heal when they're at about half. So I'd like the threshold to be half. I'm okay with the 3 uses, but I'd prefer the threshold to be half instead, but this is what we're getting, so. The bleed is still a lot of damage, but, you know, you give someone enough time, like there's no cooldown on this, right? So you give someone enough time and you stall them like the cherubs and stuff, then Occultist, given enough turns, can probably heal everyone up to a decent amount. Might take 10 turns, but he can do it. So this will be interesting. Reconstruction's still a bad skill. This change doesn't make it feel better. It still seems pretty bad. But we'll have to see. The Blind Shaman's Blazing Aegis has a cooldown, thank goodness. The Whipper Smoke'em no longer deals damage and continues to ignore riposte. They need, I think it's the Whipper that has the group cleave when it's powered up. The cleave attack that does damage and burn and 2 stress to your whole party, that needs to be toned down. Just take the stress off that, you know. A lot of the Fnatic enemies do heavy stress damage, so there hasn't really been any change. Pit Fighter hasn't changed, the cleave hasn't changed on this dude, so we're gonna have, like, the Sprawl's still gonna be a very dangerous area for enemies, but it's gonna have the easiest boss, so I guess that's weird. The Plague Eaters, I mean, this is cool. So they're guaranteed to use this, or their super move or whatever, when they eat a corpse. So I guess they had a chance not to, but this is fine. This makes them dangerous. The Plague Eaters do feel pretty close to balance, except for the goats. The goats hit way too freaking hard, but this is a good start. I'm okay with this. Well, there's also, I think it's the lady has like a stress cleave or something. I can't remember, but yeah, double check. Lost Battalion Knights clear blind when using Unguard. I'm not a fan of this change because Unguard gives them, I believe, 2 block tokens and 2 riposte tokens. I think the riposte does bleed damage, so weakening them is not a great strat because they still do bleed damage to you. So the way to handle these right now is to stack blind on them preemptively, because they use On Guard either on turn 1 or turn 2, and then they just, you know, start counterattacking for like 7 damage and bleeding you, which sucks. And now we have to wait. I believe they're slow enemies, so you have to like let them on guard, and then blind them the next turn, which it kind of slows down your end of the battle. So I'm not the biggest fan of this. It seems like a minor change, but I feel like it has some, as the ancestor says, terrible implications. It's not gonna be that bad, but I'm not a fan of this. Foot soldiers can no longer resist the taunt component of the drummer's defensive. I've seen this. I've seen them resist the taunt. That's pretty funny. Bullseye Barret can no longer fail to use Mark for Death because he's blind. I've only fought Bullseye Barret like 1 time, so I'm not very familiar. This is an elite archer, I believe, in the Tangle. I forget. I'm not sure what makes the elite enemy spawn, but there's Black Phillip, Bullseye Barret's, Her Ladyship, and are those the only 3? I forget. But those are the 3 I remember. So for the cultists, raise proc rate on worship tokens for evangelists and cherubs. This is so you can't like just kill the deacon and like try and stun the cherubs, I guess. But this is gonna make cultists more dangerous. Cultists are already kind of challenging. This is gonna make them a bit harder, especially the torchless cultist fight. So they will automatically use their worship skill at the start of the round if they have enough worship. So that's very scary. And then using worship skills now grant them healing and clears dots on the targeted deacon and cardinal. Yikes. Deacons and cardinals more dangerous than they were. I think cardinal is pretty fair, like pretty fairly tuned. It's a difficult enemy. It does a lot of damage, but it felt pretty fair. Deacon I didn't think Deacon needed buffs, but Deacon's getting buffs. Deacon was already pretty tough. This is on, wait, no, it's the next one. Or one of these other ones coming up. So raise minimum damage on flesh to bone. Deacon already hits very hard. That's very scary. Fixed launch ranks of flesh to bone, I think, or fun bone. I don't think Deacon could use it from the back, so you could like pull things in front of it. And that was like a good answer because it would just skip turns. So I think they fixed that. And then, yeah. Improved damage of Deacon's Weight of Worlds. Can't remember what this attack is. Is this the cleave? I think it's the cleave. But, yikes. Cleaves being strong again. Please, Red Hook, stop making cleaves as dangerous as they are. There's 2 games now. Deacon now uses the Flesh Warps. This is the one I was looking for. Use the Flesh Warps at the start of combat instead of on his first turn. So the Flesh Warps is the alternating buff that Deacon gets where it resists half damage from either melee or range. And using it on its first turn was nice because your melee units could sneak hits in if they were fast enough. And now they can't. So this is really going to slow us down for fighting Deacons. Sundering Steel removes block tokens. Dude, Deacon is so strong now. But still respects them for damage reduction. Okay. But still, geez Louise. You have a block stack. Rip Man-at-Arms. I'm kidding. Forget what Exaltation does. Clears repose tokens. Okay, so I'm gonna do the spoilers later. So I'm not gonna open them in the middle of the video, so I'll have like a section 4 spoilers. Shambler mobility has been fixed when using skills. That's cool. Shambler has been slightly modified. I'm not quite sure what that means. Dreaming General. This is the Tangle boss, so slight spoilers here. Taproot no longer subject to retaliation or group attacks, which cause the fight to stop functioning. I think this is the game-breaking bug that I was talking about. So I remember I had like a combo attack. Someone had Respectful, and then the fight just like stopped working as it was supposed to. I still won it, but I had to wait until like the mechanic cleared itself. I couldn't do the fight the way you're supposed to. And that wasn't cool, so I'm glad they fixed that. The Strangle Dot will no longer travel with a hero. Okay. Heroes will now bark when using Whispering Darkness. I guess it wasn't obvious enough when you were hit by it. So, like I said, we'll do the final boss also later. This was backstory. I mean, that's cool. The backstory stuff, minor. Very minor. So. Oh, so you can't face tank the backstory? It wasn't that hard before anyway, so I don't think this change matters. You might fail it the first time because you don't quite get it, but once you understand what to do, I don't think you're ever going to fail this. Okay, miscellaneous stuff. We got tutorials, party names. Oh, this, okay. I like this. This is like their first, these are their first attempts at trying to add scaling to the game, because the base game right now doesn't have really any scaling. So that's why the difficulty curve goes like biome 1 is like the hardest point in the game for you, and then 2 is manageable, and then 3 usually you just like run that over. And then when you get to the end of the game, it's usually a lock, but no pun intended. We'll see. But I like these changes here. So the battle modifier shaping, reduced chance in region 1. These are modifiers for the fight, so the thing in the top left corner, I believe, right? Increased battle modifier chance with lower torch. Yeah, okay. So lower torch means that your battle modifiers will be more common, and then also they won't be as common in region 1. So getting things like gargantuan enemies that have 30% more life, or elite enemies or whatever in biome 1 when you have 1 mastery point, like you can almost not win road fights at that point, especially in the Sprawl. So that's a good change. That's a really good change. Let's see. Then we have battle configuration shaping. So no hards in first non-valley region. So this is the first biome after the valley. No easies in the third. So what this means is I believe this is the mash. So enemy parties are called mashes in this series. So when you get to biome 3, you'll not have anything considered an easy mash. So probably no 3 zombie type fights anymore. And also hopefully in biome 1, you won't get like double pit fighter or like double ghoul or something like that anymore, which would be nice because that's very obnoxious and that is changing. Double Ghoul Barricade Mash no longer has a round limit. This is an okay change. Like, Double Ghoul is a nightmare from what I've heard. I've actually not fought Double Ghoul yet, surprisingly. But having this as a road fight is unwinnable in Biome 1, pretty much. If you have the 5 rounds, just because Ghoul gives itself dodge every time you attack it. But I really think Double Ghoul fight shouldn't exist at all. It's just too ridiculous of an encounter. And then also, Ghoul shouldn't give itself dodge tokens. It should give itself prot tokens or block tokens, I think. The fact it gives itself dodge on every attack is really annoying, and these fights drag on forever. That's the biggest reason it takes more than 5 rounds to kill 2 ghouls, because they give themselves dodge every time they attack. And that's so hard to deal with. Base scouting up or down from 45 to 37.5. I think this could go lower, because I agree with this goal. So scouting stagecoach upgrades are supposed to be like valuable in the watchtower and stuff. Because right now, like, the watchtower is really just not worth going to, unless it's like one of your first 2 nodes and you have like a lot of things you didn't scout. But I would like this to go lower. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes down to like 25% or 30 or something like that before the before 1.0. Base chance of quirk at inn is up. This is actually a bit scary because this could be a negative quirk too. Reduce. I don't like this change at all here. Reduce mastery point loot. So you pick up mastery points when you do certain fights. I believe it's 25% for a road fight and 50% for a node that isn't like a boss. That's a guaranteed 2. A hero shrine's a guaranteed 1. And then fighting the guardian, where you have to fight the 3 battles and then the cultists as the 3rd battle. I believe that's always guaranteed 1. So they're lowering the mastery chance of road fights, which is fine, but mastery is so low already. I never took road fights to find mastery. Well, maybe like once or twice. Like if my team was doing very well, it's like maybe we'll get a point, you know. But I really think that like resistance encounters and cultist encounters should just give like 1. I don't know, or make it 75%. Because I've had runs where I get through the first biome and I got like 3 points, and I just don't want to finish the run at that point, because that's such a low amount. What you need to do. Change hope bonus for killing enemies or bosses from 200 to 400. This is cool. This is a nice change, because I feel like bosses aren't usually worth doing anymore, like right now, because you can beat the game without fighting bosses, and I don't think that should be it. I think they should want you to fight like 1 boss per run, maybe 2. So antiquarian trinkets, I don't know if this is a spoiler for anyone anymore, but the wealth threshold went down from 75 to 35. This is a great change. 75 was too much. This is way too high, so I like the 35 now. Fixes to pillager battle configurations that had crackshot in rank 1, where he's useless. Yeah, this is a good change. Kind of sad though, because that basically meant we got a free turn. Guard token description fixed, not sure what that means. Alright. We're almost done here. So added disease glyph to appropriate choices. I have no idea what that means offhand. Fixed mastery loot glyph in cage creature cosmic story. All right, we're gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna talk about one thing before we do the spoiler section. Baru did an interview recently with Chris and Tyler. So if you want to watch that, I believe he said he's going to post it on YouTube. It's a good interview. My voice cracked, but yeah, it's a good interview. And there are a couple things that were interesting in that interview, and we'll just kind of make this an update video. I'm not going to give you the entire interview cliff notes, because you should watch it and support Baru and all that. But the 2 things that stuck out in that interview that I really liked is they talked about cosmetics. So if you've ever noticed in the hero backstories, they have new outfits, which is cool. And like these are like full models that are painted and stuff. And they said, I believe they said, we're gonna get them like at some point. We'll just be able to put them on, which would be a really cool reward for being able to clear a hero's backstory, is you get to use their cool different costumes. So that's a great change. And hopefully they add more cosmetics in the future. The other thing that they mentioned, which I thought was very interesting, is they were asked if Reynald died. I was starting to suspect that he didn't. I felt like the helmet on the ground was just kind of a teaser thing anyway, because it's too petty of a marketing tactic, right? That's like Destiny 2 killing Cade level of just bad marketing. And they aren't, I don't think Red Hook would do something like that. And in the interview, they were asked if Reynold was dead, and their response was, "We never said anyone was dead." That might not be true. Some allies could show up as enemies in this game, but I would not be surprised if we get Reynold back at some point. I'm almost certain he's coming back now, especially with that statement. It's just a matter of when. All right, so we're gonna do some spoilers here, and I'll make sure to mark it in the video and stuff like that. But for Pillagers, Antiquarian shows up with the Pillagers, if you haven't noticed. It's pretty rare. I think she shows up the more gold you have on you, or relics, whatever you want to call it. So they just made it so Antiquarian doesn't like waste turns, and her turns are more effective for the most part. But Invigorating Vapors affecting herself is also, that's fair, but also scary. Antiquarian's kind of a jerk enemy, honestly. She got like 30 HP. So I think she should have like 25, but... So now, chance to give strength tokens to the allies. So Antiquarian is very, very dangerous. It sounds like. Between like the full team cleave of blights and the dodge spam, the double action, stuff like that. Antiquarian's like a mini boss. That's pretty cool. Okay, mega spoilers. This is your last chance, like bail out if you've been watching up to this point. But we're gonna talk about the final boss. I'm gonna sip my water. By sip, I mean take 3 huge gulps because I'm thirsty as heck. So the final boss. I guess the canon name is Denial Boss. So HP raised to 90 for all locks. I hate this change. This fight is already a freaking slog. And as a person who enjoys games, I'm always fundamentally against just slapping more HP on an encounter unless there's a very, very good reason for it. This fight was already long as hell anyway. This is like a 15-20 minute fight, I think, depending on what happens. And with some of the nerfs to like stress healing and stuff like that, this fight is getting a lot harder just from this alone. But now there's more stuff. So shared skill, Paralyzing Fear, now inflicts vulnerable in addition to the existing 75% chance to stun. Ouch. Latch of Regret. I forget which one this one is. Ruptured Vessels, or Ruptured Vessel. Is this the lion one? I can't remember. But it inflicts weak. And the Bolt, I think this is the range one, now inflicts blind. So you're gonna get hit with a lot more debuffs from this boss, which is cool. That's thematic. Like, what I was trying to say is, like, these 3 changes, those are fine. You don't need this HP on top of it, you know? But now we have a bunch of HP, so this fight, people are gonna start dying to this fight. Maybe that's what they wanted. I guess so. Whichever lock uses Denial will also use their unique attack that round. Did not. Okay. Increasing the total number of attacks each round by 1. Oh man, we're getting hammered this fight, dude. Locks will abide by the 3-round denial cooldown as long as 3 or more locks remain. This is so they can't repeatedly lock you out of the same thing, so they'll have to take turns, which is a very cool way to do the fight. At 2 locks, they no longer respect cooldowns. That's fine. That's how it should be. Because like they, you know, the fight's about to be over. You gotta start doing stuff to you that's more threatening. At 1 lock, the remaining monster will use its denial move and unique move every round. Whew. In addition, each lock generates a unique buff on all surviving locks when it dies. These buffs last the duration of the fight. What are these buffs? Okay, I gotta see what this is. This dude. That kind of opens up a strategy. The current strategy for the last boss is to zerg down, like rush down the whichever lock is most threatening to you. Usually it's the melee one, the lion one. So you blow up the lion one first, and then you try and recover. And then once you get through 2 of them, the fight's usually over. Now, with these buffs, it might be like, there might be a strategy of trying to kill them all together, which, that still doesn't sound good. Maybe you kill 1 and then try and kill the other 3 like together. It depends, but this could be very dangerous. Like, you want to lower them all together is what it's starting to sound like from that change, so it'll be interesting. I think the days of LOL easy Darkest Dungeon 2 are probably over, or they're quickly heading to an end. So overall, these are really good changes. Not a huge fan of the final boss changes, to be honest, but that's fine. There's some other things I want to see changed, like some of the monsters, like the Fanatic monsters, like Pit Fighter, and the Cleave that does stress and all that. I would like that to change. But anyway, good start. really good start. And it's only been 2 weeks, so Red Hook just absolutely on top of it. Awesome. And that's it for this one. This came at a good time because I was going to make a starter tips video today. And this thing came out, so it would have invalidated probably some of my tips, which is good. So I'm glad, you know, this happened. And yeah, we'll be streaming this tomorrow. We'll see if we can beat the game on the new patch. And then for other videos, playthrough stuff, tips, boss guides coming up. And if you want to get the game yourself, if you're still on the fence, then consider using my Epic code, which is shuffle in all caps at checkout. Thank you very much. And no, I can't think of anything else. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.